So now I have one more challenge for you, and it's this. Let's create the most realistic gold as we can. And I'm going to get you started on this challenge, but I want to see how far you can take this. And based on what we've learned about IOR and dielectrics, metals, this and that, how would you go about this process? Well, we know that gold is a metal. So let's start off by going to the metallic, set that to 1. And also go to our roughness and set this to 0 for the time being. Now, when it comes to this IOR, we should look up what the IOR of gold is. And so to do this, let's go to refractiveindex.info. And then we can go to this right here and say gold. And the refractive index is 0.27035. So we're going to take this number, let's just copy that, and we're going to paste that into the IOR, like so. So now we have this going on, and the last main thing to figure out as far as basic settings go is how to get this base color accurate. Because we can kind of eyeball this, we can try to, go do something like this, but what you'll find pretty quickly is that it'll be really difficult to get the gold color to feel exactly like it should be. Your eyes are very sensitive to anything that's yellow colored, so just a percentage or two off, and your eye is going to be able to tell that something is wrong. So this would be a great situation to find the scientifically accurate color for gold, because we don't just want to guess at what that should be. Now let me show you how we can do that by taking information about the refractive index, using refractiveindex.info, and from there getting RGB values that perfectly match gold. Let's pause this. I'll go over to refractiveindex.info. We're already at gold, and we already figured out this refractive index. But now we can do something interesting with this wavelength. And so check this out. We have red, green, and blue. And we know that red, green, and blue have different wavelengths because if we look at the frequencies, this might be red as an example. And let's say that this is blue. And if we measure the distance between these two peaks, then that is this wavelength that we're trying to describe down here. So let's do this. Start off by figuring out the wavelength for purely red lights. So let's say wavelength of red lights, and this is going to be 700 to 635 nanometers. We'll go right in between or so let's say 650 nanometers, which in this case means 0.65 micrometers right there. That's what that symbol means. So at 0.65, let's go down here. We want to then take this non-polarized reflectance. I'm not going to get into this non-polarized and what that means, but basically, if you look at reflectance and the reflectance that was not killed, that's this non-polarized, we end up with 0.94423. Let's copy that, go to Houdini. This is going to be our red. Now, we need to do the same thing with green. So let's say wavelength of green lights. Green is between 560 and 520. So let's say 535. Up here, 0.535. Down here again, non-polarized, 0.70373. Copy that. There is green. And then lastly, we need blue. So then we'll go wavelength of blue lights. There's blue. We'll say 470. So 0.47. Go down here. The non-polarized is 0.39277. So copy that and paste it here with blue. Now we have a perfectly accurate color of gold. And that's awesome. Like I said, anything that's yellow, and gold is a fairly yellow color, your eye is going to be very sensitive, and this looks way better than what it was before. So there you go. Now that you have an accurate sense of, well, what the shader should be, now it's up to you to try to take this a little bit further. And so we can take up this roughness, let's say maybe a base value of 0.1. I never like going all the way down to 0 unless it's a mirror. So let's say 0.1 on that. And then from here, you want to think about breaking up the values with texture maps. And this is where I'm going to leave you guys. This is no longer the territory of shading theory as much. It's more about technique at this point. But I just want to show you how you can take everything you just learned and make sense of this a little bit more. Because now that you know the theory, you know the background behind where these settings come from, you can look at objects in the real world and figure out, based on how light reacts to objects, what that means in terms of settings within the Principled shader and across any render engine. So at this point, I want to show you a few maps that I used here for this particular course, at least in the teaser image here. So I have this texture library, and I fill this with photos that I take, photos that I buy online, all kinds of different things. I can't distribute this to you guys, unfortunately, just because I didn't take all these photos myself. But I have these black and white pattern maps, and here I have a few different patterns of metal. Again, some of this is things that I took, some of this is stuff I paid for. But basically, if you take these values and you plug it into the textures area over here, you can begin adding detail to this base setup. So the idea is that you get your basic settings there. Now you just add variety by adding some textures in there, and that can get you very, very realistic results. So that wraps this up. I hope you guys have enjoyed this course. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys might do with this gold shader. And, well, I hope that you learned something. Until next time, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day.